Hi, good morning, students. Welcome to our online class. In previous class, we were discussing about state government. In that, we were discussing about state legislature. Already, you know, the state legislature consists two houses. Okay, the state legislature consists two houses. The upper house of the state legislature is called as a legislative council or Vidhana Parishad. Okay, the upper house of the state legislature is called as Legislative Council or Vidhana Parishad. Second one, the lower house of the state legislature is called as the Legislative Assembly or Vidhana Sabha. Okay, so in yesterday's class we have discussed about Vidhana Parishad or Legislative Council or upper house of the state legislature and its qualifications qualifications in order to become a member of legislative council and qualifications required to become a member of state legislative assembly. Okay, and also we have discussed about the powers and functions of the legislative assembly, etc. Okay, next here some qualifications are there. That qualifications are required to become MLCs. Okay, in yesterday's class I told you MP. It means about that we have discussed in the previous chapter. It means in union government we have discussed about member of parliament. Okay, parliament also consists two houses. Upper house is called as Rajya Sabha, lower house is called as Lok Sabha. Like that here at state level, state government consists state legislature. The state legislature into two houses. Okay, it has two houses. Upper house is called as a legislative council or Vidhana Parishad. Lower house is called as legislative assembly or Vidhana Sabha. Okay. So what are the qualifications required to become MLCs? At union level, MPs are there, member of parliaments. But state level, MLAs are there. Okay. MLA means member of legislative assembly, but MLC means member of legislative council. Okay, what are the qualifications required to become member of legislative assembly? Sorry, legislative council. See that. First, person should be citizen of the country, and person should not be less than 30 years of age, and person should possess all the qualifications required for MLA from time to time. Next, the term of the members is 6 years. The term of office of MLCs is 6 years. Okay, but for every second year, 1/3 of members of the legislative council goes to staff. Same, it is like at Rajya Sabha. Okay, how Rajya Sabha is a permanent body and it not dissolves like that. Lok Sabha, like that at state level, Vidhana Parishad is a permanent body. It also it does not dissolve like Vidhana Sabha here in state level. Next, here also the term of office of a state legislative council is 6 years. Okay, how the term of office of the legislative council at a union level is 6 years, no? Like that here at the state level, the term of office of legislative council members is 6 years, but for every second year, 1/3 of Rajya Sabha members goes to retired. Okay. Next, among that total members of the Rajya Sabha only, how they will elect one person as a speaker and another person as a deputy speaker, like that at state level. Okay, it means in a state legislative council, one person is elected as a speaker and another person elects as a deputy speaker. Okay, and the speaker assumes the chairmanship during the proceedings of the house and it should ensure dignity and decorum of the house. Okay, here in state legislative council, among that total members are elected members only. One person is elected as a speaker and another person is elected as a deputy speaker. And here the role of the speaker is he should ensure the dignity and decorum of the house. Okay. Next, the powers of the legislative council. What are the powers of the legislative council? First one, legislative powers. What are the legislative powers of legislative council? Already you know, legislature means it frames the rules and regulations which, as per the subjects which are mentioned in the state list. Okay, how union legislature frames the rules and regulations which are mentioned, which frames the rules and regulations as per the subjects which are mentioned in the central list, like that at state level state legislature frames the rules and regulations as per the subjects which are mentioned in the state list. Okay, in central list 100 subjects are there. Okay, but in state list, 60 subjects are there relating to that 60 subjects. As per the guidelines of that 60 subjects, the state legislature frames the rules and regulations. Okay. First, after framing the rules and regulations, it means it prepares the bill. Okay. After preparing, that can be presented in either house of the state legislature. How bill can be presented in either house of the parliament at the union level, like that here also at state level the bill can be presented in either house of the state legislature. But if it is a financial bill means first it should be presented in a lower house, it means in Vidhan Sabha. But at the union level the financial bill can be presented only in Lok Sabha or lower house. Okay, except financial bill or money bill, other bills can be presented in any houses. Okay, in any houses or in both houses. After presenting that bill in any one house, next that bill can be sent to another house. After getting approval in that house, next it goes to get approval by the President of India. Okay. Here, the Legislative Council has the power to withhold that bill with him up to 3 months. Okay. When the same bill is sent by the Legislative Assembly for the second time, the bill comes. Sorry, second time, the council should approve it within 1 month. If it does not do so, it will be understood that both the houses have approved the bill and it will be sent to governor for his assent. It means at a state level, except a financial bill, all bills or other bills can be presented in either house of the state legislature. If it is financial bill means it should be presented first only in lower house or in Vidhan Sabha, okay, or in legislative assembly. But except financial bill, Other bills can be presented in either house of the state legislature. Okay. If it is presented first in upper house or legislative council means after getting approval next it goes to lower house or to Vidhan Sabha. There if it is got approval means next it goes to get approval by governor. Okay. Uh, what is the procedure to create laws or an act? Okay, so that's why the process of creation of an act, how acts can be created or framed. Okay, see that is the process involves some steps. First step one, first reading. It means in order to frame the rules and regulations or acts, first the lawmakers have to prepare the bill. Okay, after preparing that bill or after framing that bill that can be presented in any houses or in either houses. Okay, but if it is financial bill means first it should be presented in lower house or in legislative assembly or in Vidhana Sabha at state level. But at the central level or at union level, it should be presented in Lok Sabha. So, first reading, the person who tables the bill reads out the text loudly. First, the person or the lawmakers who prepares the bill, that person, first he has to read that bill loudly in front of the members in that house. Okay, the person who tables the bill reads out the text loudly. Okay, after reading that bill in front of that all members of the any house, if it is upper house means in front of that members of the legislative council. If it is in lower house means in front of that members of the legislative assembly. Okay, the person who prepares the bill, he has to read that text loudly in front of the members of the house. Okay. After that, discussion takes place. After reading that bill loudly in front of that members, discussion takes place in that uh, house. Okay. After discussion, what happens? They can cast the vote for that bill. Okay. If the bill got majority means then that bill is treated as to get approved. Okay. Then next that bill can be sent to another house. There also that the bill can be read that text can be read loudly in front of the members after the discussion takes place. After discussion, they can cast the vote. There also it got majority means it goes to get approval by governor at state level, but at the central level or union level, it goes to get approved by president. Okay, like that. Second one, during the second reading, a discussion can take place or bill may be sent to respective house committee. The committee deliberates on the bill and submits its report to the legislative house. The house can either approve or reject the bill after discussion. Okay. After discussion, either they can approve the bill or they can reject the bill after discussion. Okay. During the third reading, the House can discuss the bill orally after approval. After, after approval, the bill would be sent to another house. If this house also completes the procedures, the bill is sent to for governor's approval. If the governor approves, then the bill becomes an act. Okay. The governor may also forward it to the president for approval. At state level, how the laws or acts can be made. First, the members who want to make the laws, they can prepare the bill. After preparing, that person who frames the laws or rules, regulations, or especially the bill, they have to read the text loudly in front of the members of that house. Okay. After discussion takes place in between that members of the house. Okay. After discussion, they can cast the vote for that bill. If in that voting, if it got majority means that is treated as a get approved. Okay. After getting approval by that house, next it goes to another house. There also they can read the text in front of that members of the house. After the discussion takes place, they can next they can cast the vote. There also it got majority means next it goes to get approval by governor at state level. Sometimes after giving approval to that particular act, next he can send governor can send that bill to get approval by president. Okay. After getting approval by president, that bill becomes an act. That is the procedure to create the laws of an act. Next, what are the financial powers of the legislative council? Already I told while I am explaining about union legislature, same here also at state legislature, the legislative council or upper house has less power, has less financial power than the legislative assembly. Okay, legislative council. It may be at state level or central level. It has less financial powers than the legislative assembly. Okay, legislative assembly has a greater power over finance, but a legislative council which can only withhold a finance bill for 14 days. Now only I told you, legislative council has less financial powers than the legislative assembly, but it has the power to hold that financial bill with him up to 14 days. If it does not return the bill after 14 days, it is understood that both the houses have approved the bill and it is sent to the governor for his approval. Okay, that financial bill can be sent to governor for his approval after 14 days. But this legislative council has the power only to keep or withhold that financial bill up to 14 days. That's all. But all financial powers are in the hands of legislative assembly. Next, administrative powers. Already you know all the administrative powers are in the hands of legislative assembly. Okay. The legislative council does not have much control over administration. It can obtain it can obtain information by posing questions to ministers. If the questions are not answered properly, it can only insist on the minister's resignation but cannot move no confidence motion. All financial, sorry, on all administrative powers or all administrative matters are in the hands of legislative assembly members, but not in the hands of legislative council members. Totally, legislative assembly is fully responsible for the administration of the state at state level. Next, discretion powers. Legislative council carries on debates about the governors, about the government's programs, policies, decisions, and acts. Uh, discretion powers. Here, legislative council carries debates on about the government's policies, programs, decisions, and acts. It means the legislative council, it may be at a central level or at a state level, I am saying, okay? It can organize debates on the programs of the ruling government, policies of the ruling government, and decisions and acts of the ruling government. Okay, totally, it can organize, it can organize debates about the government policies, programs, acts, and decisions. Okay, on that time, it can ask several questions. If they not answer properly, means it can guide them. Okay, as this is the House of Elders, the debate are carried on a very serious manner. The Legislative Council is called as the House of Elders, and it is a permanent body. It not dissolves like Legislative Assembly. These are the powers of the Legislative Council. Discretionary powers. Next, state executive. Next, one more important organ of the government, that is state executive. Okay, first one, the state legislature, second one, state executive, and third, state judiciary. Already, generally, the legislature, it may be center or union or state legislature. Totally, it frames the rules and regulations as per the subjects mentioned in the central list at central level, and as per the subjects which are mentioned in the state list in state level. Okay, so totally the legislature frames the rules and regulations or acts. Okay, but that acts or rules and regulations which are framed by the legislature, that all rules and regulations brings into practice by executive. It may be union executive or state executive. Union executive brings that rules and regulations into practice at central level or at union level, but state executive brings all the rules and regulations which are framed by the state legislature into practice. Okay, at the state level. The state executive comprises the governor, chief minister, and his council of ministers. Okay, here state executive consists the governor, the chief minister, and his council of ministers. Okay, so the governor is the constitutional head. The council of ministers with the chief ministers as its head is the real executive authority. At state level, the governor is the constitutional head and he is the head of state executive. But the chief minister and his council of ministers are fully responsible for the administration of the state government. But actually, chief minister is the real head of the state executive. Okay, constitutional head, governor, real head, chief minister. Okay, the governor can exercise his authority either directly or through his appointment officials, because he has some officials. Okay. See about the governor. The president nominates the governor on the recommendations of the prime minister. Already you know how president can appoint the prime minister like that. Sorry. Here at the state level, I am saying here the president nominates the governor on the recommendations of the prime minister. Okay. who can appoint the governor president on the recommendations of prime minister. Okay, it is very important. The president nominates the governor on the recommendations of the prime minister and his cabinet or council of ministers. Okay, every state is required to have a governor. However, sometimes two or three states can have single governor. As per our constitution, all states or every state is required a governor. Okay, every state is required to have a governor, but actually two or three states can have a single governor. Some states in our India, as per our constitution, every state should have or every state is required to have a governor, but sometimes two or three states have single governors. Now, what are the qualifications required to become governor? Or what is the term of office and salary for perquisites, etc. Okay. First, person should be citizen of the country, and person should not be less than 35 years of age, and person should not hold any office of profit under the government. Next, person should not be a member of either house. It may be member of parliament or member of state legislature. If he is a member of either house, he can resign. Okay, sorry, he should be resigned. If he is a member of parliament, means he should be resigned to that post, or if he is a member of state legislature, means he should resign from the post when he is appointed as a governor. Okay, appointed as the governor. Next, the term of office of governor is 5 years. Okay. However, he continued to occupy the post even after the completion of the term. Okay. Sometimes after completion of 5 years also they can continue in their post. But when they can continue in their post, the president may recall the governor on the recommendation of the union government or union council of ministers before the expiry of his term. Okay. Before completion of 5 years, as per the recommendations of uh, Union Council of Ministers, before the expiry of his term, they can recall him. Okay, the governor receives salary and allowances as a fixed by the parliament. Governor has a fixed salary and fixed allowances or remuneration. Okay, the governor receives salary and allowances as a fixed by the parliament and resides at the official residence or Raj Bhavan. Okay, where these governors can be lived at Raj Bhavan. His action cannot be questioned nor can be prosecuted in a court of law. Next, powers and functions of the governor. Legally, all executive powers belongs to the governor. Okay. However, the chief minister and his council of ministers exercise the power because governor is the constitutional head. But who are the real heads? The chief minister and his council of ministers are the real heads. So that's why the chief minister and his council of ministers exercises these powers. Okay. First, executive powers. The governor is the executive head and appoints the chief minister on the advice of the sorry. Governor is the executive head and he appoints the council of ministers on the advice of the chief minister. What are the executive powers of governor? He can appoint the chief minister and his council of ministers. Sorry, he can appoint the council of ministers as per the suggestions or recommendations of chief minister. Okay, governor can appoint the other council of ministers on the recommendations of chief minister. Or on the advice of Chief Minister. He also appoints the chairman of the State Public Service Commission. Governor can appoint the chairman of a State Public Service Commission, and he also appoints the vice chancellors for all the universities in the state and other officials. Next, legislative powers. The governor has the power to summon and postpone or dissolve the assembly on the advice of the chief minister. Okay, the governor has the power to summon or postpone or dissolve the assembly on the advice of the chief minister. He also has the power to nominate one person to the assembly and 1/6 of the members to the legislative council. Okay, he may approve, withhold a bill approved by the legislature. If needed, he can forward a bill to the president for his approval. Next, financial powers. But governor has less financial powers than when compared to prime minister. Sorry, chief minister. Okay, prime minister at central level, chief minister at state level. Next, the judicial powers. The governor has the power to pardon those who have been convicted and reduce, postpone, or change the punishment given to criminals. At state level, governor has the power to cancel or change the punishment given to criminals. And he appoints the state advocate general and the district judges. Governor can appoint the advocate generals, state advocate general. Okay, governor has the power to appoint state advocate general and district judges. Next, what are the discretionary powers of governor? The governor uses his discretionary power while appointing the chief minister of the state when there is no clear majority. When governor can use his discretionary power when any party will not get a majority in election, on that time governor can use his discretionary power. It means he has the power to call into any party to form the government. Okay, when it is possible, when any party or when a single party will not get a majority in the election, on that time governor can use his discretionary power. It means he has the power to call any party to form the government. And he may also withhold the bill passed by the legislature and send it to the president, recommended to the president to declare the emergency in the state. Okay. Next, dismiss the cabinet or dissolve the legislative assembly. Now, governor has the power to declare state emergency at state level, okay, and he has the power to dissolve the legislative assembly. Next, state council of ministers. State level, chief minister and his council of ministers are there, and they are. It means chief minister and his council of ministers are fully responsible for their administration. Especially this council of ministers at state level are fully responsible for their department. Okay, the success and failure of that department is completely depending on that particular minister of the department. Okay, our constitution provides for council of ministers with the chief minister as its head. Okay, this council assists the governor in the administration matters and is responsible to the legislative assembly. The council has many functions. First one, it decides the government's policies. Next, it prepares the state budget and presents it in the legislature. It advises the governor in the matters of appointment of the chairmen of the State Public Service Commission and its members and members of the Lokayukta and each minister has to ensure efficient working of his department. It also to coordinate and supervise the working of different departments. Okay. Next, chief minister. The chief minister is the head of the government. In previous chapter, we have discussed Prime Minister is the head of the union government. Okay, Prime Minister is the head of the union government or central government. But in state level, Chief Minister is the head of the state government. Success or failure of the state government depends on his responsibility. How he is responsible. Okay, Chief Minister is responsible. He is the head of the Council of Ministers and the legislature. Okay, and the leader of the majority party in the government. The Chief Minister should be member of any one of the two houses. Even those who are not members of either house can become the Chief Minister. However, he has to become the member of any one house within 6 months. Okay. Next, functions and powers of the chief minister. At state level, chief minister has several administrative powers, financial powers, and other powers. See that what are the functions and powers of the chief minister? First one, he prepares the list of ministers and send it to the governor. After getting majority in election, chief minister can prepares the list of ministers, okay, and he can send it to the governor. Next, he allocates portfolios to the ministers, and he can also change the portfolios allotted to ministers. It means after getting majority in election, chief minister can prepare the list of ministers and he can send that list to governor. Next, he has the power to allocate the portfolios, okay, to particular departments. Next, he has the power to remove those ministers who are not loyal to the government. Hmm. Next, Chief Minister has the power to remove any ministers at any time when they will go against the will and wish of the government and the against the constitution. Okay, if any minister when they will go against the will and wish of the government and against the constitution on that time, they can be removed by chief minister. Okay, chief minister has the power to remove them at any time. And at the state level, chief minister is the head of the government, and he plays very important role in the formulation of policies, programs, acts. Okay, and he has the power to coordinate and supervise the working of all the departments because he is the head of the council of ministers. No, so that's why chief minister has the power to coordinate and supervise the working of all the departments, and he is the head of the cabinet. He can summon or postpone its meetings. Next, seventh one, he has the power to dissolve the legislative assembly before the expiry of its term. Okay, and he acts the link between the governor and council of ministers. Last one, he acts an advisor to the governor for regarding to nominations to many posts. Okay. This is about state government. With that, this chapter also completed. Before concluding today's chapter, I would like to give some questions to you guys. So, write down the questions. What is state executive? What is state executive? Next, who can appoint the governor? Who can appoint to the governor? who can appoint to the governor. Next, what is the term of office of governor? Next, what are the qualifications required to become governor? And where he resides, where the governor resides. He resides at Raj Bhavan. Next, what are the powers of governor? Next, what are the discretionary powers of governor? Explain the powers and functions of the chief minister. Okay. Explain the powers and functions of the chief minister. Okay. Write the answers and send in your personal WhatsApp group. In next class, we will meet with next concept or with new concept.